Well, boys, after 217,000 miles, the old Gen 2 truck has finally killed the starter. I've never actually had to put anything on this truck except for an exhaust, because the stock one fell off because I have a stage 5 hitch and it hit the stock exhaust, and then one thing led to another and it fell off. So I put that stupid noisy thing on there that I really don't care for that much. But other than that, man, I haven't replaced anything on this truck except for batteries. But the starter finally gave up the goose, so I'm gonna yank this thing out and see if I can pull it apart and check out the armature and the brushes and stuff and see if I can make it live a little bit longer. If not, we're gonna have to put a new starter on, I guess. But let me pull this thing off and see what we got. Oh man, this thing is dug in here like a tick, and it's got some stuff that you can't see, of course. 3-bolt alternator. So we got that bolt there to take off, which is a ground. That one there, and then there's one above that we can't see. I know it's there, so we'll just get the proper socket or extension, excuse me, to go over the top, and then we'll just kind of have to guess where it is. We'll find it though and get it off of here. But this guy's a little kind of weird. Here you can't even see the nut that's under here. But anyways, all right, I'll try not to fill up my eyes with sand, and let's get this thing off. All right, now for the final boss. We got the 2 of the 3 bolts out, all the electrical lines out of the way. One thing to note, disconnect the battery. You know, because you don't want to get electrocuted like I did. I mean, I definitely did not electrocute myself at all. Anyways, this top bolt is very difficult to get to. You're gonna have to size extensions and just, you know, basically put the socket on the bolt without seeing it, and then somehow get it off. So yeah, this is where you, a bad motherfucker, if you can do it, you can pretty much do anything. Let's continue to take another hour to get this one bolt out. Here we go. All right, guys, we got our Turnomatic 5000 here off the old F-150. This is probably one of the most basic components on your vehicle. And these things can range from anywhere from $100, $200. I think I saw them on Amazon for like $60. But back when I was in high school, my dad taught me that when one of these go bad, you can really fix them for $10-15 if you can get the brush kit. And this is back when parts stores actually sold brush kits. Don't think they do anymore, but we're gonna see if we can get some more life out of it by either putting new brushes in it if I can find them, or if we can get the brushes to extend a little bit further. See how messed up they are. If you're first starting to work on cars, this is probably one of the easiest things that you can get into to learn how to do, and it's very, very basic. And we'll go over components here. You got your solenoid, you got your case, and here is an armature that turns. That's what spins the gear. It'll push the gear out, hit the flex plate, turn the motor over, and hopefully it starts. Especially, you know, if you're working on an LS or something like that, it probably won't. But anyways, yeah, pretty basic stuff here. I got all the bolts broken loose pretty much, and we'll go through here and show you how to take this thing apart. The F-150 stuff and 2-valve starters and all that stuff, they're pretty much all basically the same. The starter that's on the race car is actually off the 2-valve. And we just had that thing rebuilt and just tossed it on the Coyote, and it fits just fine. They don't fit okay if you have long tubes. If you got a turbo car, it really doesn't matter. So anyways, we got, these are T25s, just in case you wanted to know. And make sure that you're pressing on these pretty good when you take them off, because I stripped this guy and had to take a set of vice grips to this little guy here. This one came off just fine. So we'll pull the cap off, and then All right, we got all our diodes. This guy right here, go ahead and pull that off, is the start of your brushes. This little cable here is going to go to the brush kit that is touching the armature. And this one actually looks a little bit different than other ones I've seen. This is the first 2-valve one. When I was in high school, my first time learning this, it was on a 240SX and it went bad. And we just pulled it off, and it was just a singular brush. And that's the way that most of the older starters were, is just a single brush that would go through and touch the armature. This one looks a lot different, actually. So we'll pull this off. All these are spring-loaded. And actually, dude, these brushes are mint. I don't know how. This thing's got 216,000 miles on it or something like that. If you guys can see, these are the brushes. And you see how much extension they have on them. So that's actually completely fine. So we got another problem here. But if we were just going to replace this guy, we would need this entire guy here all the way around. It doesn't look like... Yeah, the brushes aren't interchangeable, so you'd need the whole ring with the brush kit and everything. I haven't looked online to see if you can actually get them or not, but I'm sure somewhere online they will have them. This is the armature. And I mean, it looks okay. So weird. So this might be a solenoid issue. So these do go bad, but I did hear it click. So now I'm confused as to actually what's wrong with it. I can't believe how good these brushes are, though. Nuts. All right, I'll be back in a second. I'm going to kind of look through this and see if I can't figure out why it's doing what it's doing. All right, this is going to be kind of weird to look at, but this is the brushes. I mean, look how much is left on these guys, man. Like another probably 200,000 miles worth of starts or so. But anyways, when you take the armature out, let me pull it out real quick. There's a ton of brush dust, and the bottom plate is completely covered in it. So I think it's literally just the amount of just brush material at the bottom of this thing. Like maybe it's not making contact to be able to push it down. Because what this thing does, we'll see, that's how the plunger works. So I guess the gear on the starter is always around, like it just continuously spins on the flex plate. And then it pushes it down, pushes this guy down, and it's got a gear on the other side. It pushes it down into these straight cut gears, the little small gears here, and then starts to spin it. What do you think? All right, so after inspecting this thing, I don't see anything that's wrong except for the amount of, say, clutch dust, brush dust. So these brushes get worn down over time and everything is contained inside this unit. And this is how this thing, it moves up and down like this. It engages these little gears with that gear, turns those guys, and then spins the flex plate. So this plate here, if I flip it over, this is on top of here. But you can see how much material's at the bottom of this thing and how nasty these are. I mean, I am thinking that
It's literally just the graphite material just sitting in here for so long, because sometimes it would start, sometimes it wouldn't, even though the solenoid clicks. And we got plenty of brush material. We have good armature. The armature, I mean, for 200,000 miles, sorry guys, for 200,000 miles, this thing, I mean, it looks fine. So I think I'm just going to clean it up, hit this guy with some sandpaper, clean up all this material, and then stuff it back on the truck and just see what happens. I mean, worst case scenario, I'll pull it back off and we just put another starter on it. But this would be a complete win if it's just a cleanup job and, you know, we ain't got to go spend $200 or $80 or whatever. Completely free, which I like that price. $3.99 is the best price. All right, I'm gonna slam it back, clean it up, slam it back together, and see what happens. Okay, so just in case you take this apart and you're like, I don't know how to put it back together, we took the armature and we just cleaned it up with a little sandpaper. See, it's nice little clean. These are all magnets inside, so it floats, and it'll just grab it like that. And then we want to line our grommet up with the brushes. You can put one side on like that, push the other two in, and boom, it goes right back over. Just like that. Okay. And we cleaned up this plate so it looks nice and all the brush material is gone. This has a little tab on it. It's got to go down in one of these little holes here. So when you put it back on, make sure it locks in. You don't want this thing. Oh, I just pulled the brushes out. Good job, idiot. I've got it stuck. Great. Okay. Maybe put this on first. Do it down on the tab, make sure it goes all the way in. Get it down on a tab. Oh Lord, have I done this wrong? We'll just sit here and monkey with it till we figure it out, I guess. Well, I guess it has no home. Just kind of has a, I guess that little tab is just a stop to go in between the, okay, hold that in. That's gonna sling in there. Boom. Let's do this again. Well, got a grommet in there. Boom. Make sure your gears are put back in here. And then when we go over this, there's two little indentations here. And then this little guy that sticks out, it's gonna go and that little receiver there. So we're gonna spin it just like that. Push it down in there until it seats down. And that's it. Now it's put back together, and once all the bolts are and the cap is put back on, this guy will line himself. Okay. Oops. Mother of pearl. Okay, so when you screw that up, take it back off, and then make sure this goes back in, whatever this piece is called. Somebody in the comments can fry me later. I don't know what it's called. There we go. Okay. There we go. Sit inside the gears. Draw it back on. Okay, now that we've done it 3 times, now it's ready to go back together. Slide this guy over that. Don't screw that up, because it won't work. And then where's our cap? Cap's kind of an obvious thing. Okay, that's back together, shove the bolts back in it, blah, 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 and then proceed to take probably about 3 or 4 hours to get all the bolts back in. All right, we're gonna slam this thing back on and see what happens. Oh, just a side note. This cap does go into the top of the brushes, so if you have one of these top screws that don't want to thread, just take something, small and just align it, and then run the bolt in there, and it should thread. If you're an LS guy, your penis should be small enough to fit in there, so you can use that. And the moment of truth. It'd probably help if I hook the battery up. Try that again.